Sorry, y'all. I had some fancy makeup on my table and I dropped it the other day and it broke and it just went all over my table. Hey, Jen.
Hey, babe. How you doing?
Hello. Hey, we got Jennifer the Hooligan, Ryan the Man, Nina Bina, Cambodian TM. Oh, so we got some big news today in Murdaugh that Fit is releasing, which I find Fit pretty credible. I don't know how different it is now that Mandy Matney left because she's the one who always comes with receipts. But Fit News is reporting that hold on one second, I have an itch on my eye. Is reporting that Cousin Eddie, Curtis Smith, or whatever the heck his name is, Alex's cousin, who did the whole unaliving plot with him, is going to testify that Alex confessed to him. So that's what they're saying, at least. There's no comment from his attorney yet, but we were kind of thinking that was a possibility because on his jail picture it says holding for, what was it, safekeeping?
Yeah, safekeeping.
Yeah. So that will be huge. And what were you were just telling me that so there was a conversation.
Oh yeah. So at the end of the day today, after the judge sent the jury home, the state stood up, the lead prosecutor for the state, and he said that he had become aware of a conversation that at one point he believed to have been attorney-client privilege. However, it's come to his attention that there were other people, which would be third parties, that were that were there when this conversation was taking place, thus negating the attorney-client privilege. And so he wants to question some of the people who were in that room when this conversation took place. He was very, very vague about the contents of this conversation, and Harpoodian, it was either Harpoodian or who's the other one? Gibb? Is that his name?
On the defense.
Defense, yeah.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember
the other one. I can't keep up with these people's names. I'm sorry. I'm terrible with names, but I can relay things. Okay, so his co-counsel, yeah, his co-counsel. It was either Harpoodian or his co-counsel who said, "We can't wait. We'll be waiting with bated breath to see what the state is talking about." It was quite snarky and like a little bit hilarious, like petty to me because I like snarky and petty. And so I kind of chuckled. And now I want to know what all of this is about. Like, I want to know
So
what
they
this
didn't even give
conversation
any
is.
context into it?
No, no, because he wants the judge to rule on whether or not it is attorney-client privilege. See, um, the lead prosecutor for the state is like trying to follow every single rule, like to the T, to the letter, down to, I mean, every I dotted, every T crossed.
I don't blame
He
them. I
said,
mean, they're working with big lawyers.
exactly. And he said out of abundance of caution. And basically, the defense is like, back the milk truck up. Now, you've done known about this conversation. It was part of, through discovery. And now all of a sudden you want to have some kind of evidentiary hearing? No. And the judge said, well, basically, it's Friday. I've been putting up with y'all shit all week. Just kidding. What he said was, we'll take it up on Monday. So,
Well, that'll be interesting.
yeah. And
So
then
I
what they
was
come with on Monday too, because there's still going to be more testimony to figure out about, are they going to let this in camera? I mean, are they going to let this financial stuff in?
I just want to hug Gloria Satterfield's son. I don't know, he's just so
When he
like
made that sad face
I
after they
know when he
told
was
him
like,
about the amount
oh my
of
goodness.
money, and the way that he was just, it's like he you just saw him get, like, he knew he got the shaft. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
He trusted this guy. He trusted him.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And that the weapons expert, he's got a very bougie
Oh, he's
voice.
super sassy, and he ain't taking a no baloney from anybody at any time. Like, they tried to trip him up on cross, and he was like, that is not what I said. And if I wrote it in my, he said, you're 100% confident. And he said, if I wrote it in my report, that's what I meant. Something to
Mm-hmm.
that effect.
I
Oh,
like
hang on
him.
a minute. My dog just busted through the door. Whole no knock warrant. I mean, just rammed himself into the door. Hold on.
I didn't get to watch all of it because I had a dentist appointment, but I went back and tried to catch as much as I could. Sounds good, LFT. So I guess we'll kind of do a quick recap from the beginning of trial, just in case people haven't really been keeping up.
Oh yeah, and happy birthday, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Happy birthday, babe. I'm not gonna sing. I don't sing.
Happy birthday to you. That's as far as I go.
Now I'll sing you Kyle's mom if you want, because I can sing like Cartman. He doesn't have to carry a tune. It's not as hard.
Oh, I love Cartman.
Buster hasn't been there the last couple of days, actually. And I think it has something to do with the speculation from people, like on social media and stuff, saying he's sitting behind his dad. Does that mean he supports his dad? But I don't think, I don't think that I think that's why he's not been there, because he doesn't want people to assume that he supports his dad, because he doesn't,
Yeah.
he said, apparently.
So I'll just share some pictures so everyone can kind of have an idea, and you get strikes for Happy B-Day song. If I play it on YouTube, I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't think you do.
Yeah.
I don't think you do.
I mean, there's so many versions of it. I can't see them doing that. We can end it with we'll end it with a happy birthday song for 5, 6,
Yeah,
6.
and then that way, if it does get a strike, just edit it out and it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be easy to find.
Exactly.
There we go. So here is all right, so the main house is all the way over there, and they ride ATVs from the house to the parking structure and the kennels and the workshop. Moselle is the property that they were found on. Um, so from what I don't know if Maggie like lived at the main house and stayed at the beach house. Like they
No,
said that she liked to stay at the beach house because of the flies, but I'm not really sure if she like permanently stayed there or not. So, but that's
most people say that she lived at the house on the beach and she visited this place.
okay. So I was looking into some things last night because on Jen Lou's panel last night we got into this big conversation. Hey Sarah, about motive and what he would gain from killing his wife. So I looked into it a little bit. Apparently, Maggie's estate was worth like $4 million, and most of it was in property. She was a
Hmm.
joint owner of the beach house, and she owned Moselle completely, like flat out. Um, and also, she had a very expensive Mercedes that she drove around, which added to that. Um, so I was thinking maybe like a motive could have been like give him time and maybe thought that he would be able to sell the properties to pay the money back or something like that. But also, which I found really interesting too, on her will or her not will, but you know where you name the person for your estate. What is that called? Is that your will where you name the
Yeah.
person? Okay, her will. She had her sister's name as the person in charge of her estate. But in December, it was changed to Alex's dad. And it was changed with a pen. Like they just crossed out the sister's name and wrote Randy Murdaugh III, father in law. So, yeah, the power of attorney, or, and it was changed in December. So, only like months before she was killed.
That's interesting because when
Mm-hmm.
they were going over the financials today and they had the banker on, palmetto, which every time they say that name, I think of a palmetto bug, which is basically a big ass roach. And it kind of grosses me out, and I wouldn't put my money in a
Oh, yeah,
bank
they're like the
with
big
that
roaches
name.
with wings.
Yeah, they're gross. Um, but anyway, that's what it made me think of, and I'm like, "Oh, hell no, I wouldn't put my money there," and I don't think none of listen, I would not s once you hear the testimony from the banker and the things that they were doing for Alec Murdaugh, you won't wanna put your it's you wouldn't wanna invest there either, keep your money there because I don't understand how any of this stuff was flying. It doesn't sound legal, it doesn't sound abo at all, and I don't even know if they're FDIC insured. I don't know any of the stuff, but it was freaking me out, and I was in the shower, and I was listening to it, and y'all who listen to me on my channel know that I get some of my very best ideas in the shower. Why, I don't know, but
Because you got
I was
nothing to do but think in there. There's no, you
one
know,
yeah, nobody's bugging me, nobody's talking to
mhm.
me, pretty I'm naked, so the whole world is avoiding me, which is perfect for me. I should walk
And you're in
around
your
naked all
most
the time.
vulnerable state in the shower alone.
I should walk around naked all the time, then nobody will ever mess with me. All right, but anyway, um, I was thinking about it, and I because he's going through the various accounts that Alec had, that Maggie had, what property they owned, what the together, who had separate, yada yada. Maggie also, yeah, they kept referring to Moselle as the farm. That's
Yeah.
but it confused me, and then finally it got clarified. I was like, "What farm? They don't own a farm." And then he clarified it. But anyway, I was thinking that because her estate would have had to go through probate, right? I was thinking he knows this. He's an attorney, and it's very, very possible that part of the motive isn't a literal financial gain but
Hmm.
putting but her estate, because when they had to turn their financials over, it would have been, if she had been alive, it would have been something very, very different. But after her passing away, because she was murdered. I was wondering if that complicates things, if it means that it's going to take longer for them to for them to go through all of the financials. Because I was thinking yesterday when I said that I really thought that the bigger scheme in all of this was, I don't think Alec intended to live after cousin Eddie. Cousin cousin Eddie messed up. And I
Mm-hmm.
think he intended for exactly what ended up happening to happen, which is Buster is the one that ended up settling. And I think that Buster, had Alec not lived, Buster would have been the executor of Alec's estate. And I think he would have done exactly what, then he would have settled also that part of the lawsuits from the boating accident. That's kind of what I think it was. I think what he was trying to do is make it more difficult for them to be able to look into the financial stuff because,
Yeah, that
I
makes
mean,
sense.
when the banker guy was going through it, he was moving around a lot of stuff. A lot
Well,
of
I'm sure he
stuff.
was just moving around a lot of stuff too because they were
He
looking. He was a defendant in the case as well, so he was
Yeah, babe, but
probably.
he was negative $340,000 in one of his accounts.
Oh yeah, I heard that today because people were
Yes.
joking in Emily Baker's chat saying, "Do you still get a $15 charge for being negative $350,000?"
Right, and they wired him, and this is the other thing. He had other accounts at that bank, and they weren't
Maggie only had
overdrawn.
like $16 in her account.
Yeah,
She
one of
had
them had 3,000. One of hers had 3.
a mutual account with Buster
Mhm.
and Paul, I guess, or maybe just Buster, and that had like 3-4 thousand in there, but her own bank account was like $16, something
Yeah,
crazy like that.
yeah.
By the way,
But
guys, look how cute this is. I don't know if you
let
can
me
see
see.
it, but it is a diamond painting of my
Aw,
lizard.
that's so cute. How cute.
Kind of glary because of the. I'll have to
I
take
love
the.
it. Yeah,
I
you
keep
take the
the plastic
cellophane
ones,
off.
so there we go.
There you go.
I'm halfway through the black, but I just thought that was so adorable. You
It
can
is
get anything in a
adorable.
diamond painting for like $10, any picture.
Uh-uh. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna get Alice. Um, yeah, so that, but what I didn't understand is they have these multiple accounts at the same bank, and all I know, like, if you are overdrawn, us regular folk, if you ever get overdrawn in your checking account, they will move money from your savings account to cover it. They don't just let you continue, you know what I'm saying? But like he was almost 400 grand negative in one of his accounts. And I've never even, I don't even know. It's the shit that they were doing is, completely, it shocked me for reals, for reals.
Sarah said we need a diamond painting to include the Capri Sun. I love that picture.
Oh, the monkey?
Yeah, the monkey with the Capri Sun.
I do. I do. I need to make one. I should
So,
get one.
so they just said. So I'm pretty sure this is the picture that CK shared. Is that a body in the picture? Like, is that
I don't
what
know.
I'm
See if you can
looking
make
at?
it bigger, babe.
Because there's a tent over it. It's hard to see. Hold on. Maybe I should wait. Let me download it and
There
then
you
open
go.
it this way. Oh my gosh!
Is
I
that
so I know I remember CK shared this, but I didn't know it was a
that's
freaking
Maggie,
body
isn't
in the
it?
picture.
Yeah, that's Maggie.
Oh my goodness!
That's Maggie.
I did not know that. Hold on a minute.
How
I
are
got
how are you all even getting these?
see. I
I
know
can't find
CK
any of these anymore.
CK shared it the other night because I remember seeing she got some exclusive Murdaugh photo and I
Mhm.
clicked it on it, but like I didn't realize there was a body in the picture. I just thought it was like of
Yeah.
the area, but
And here I go. Make it bigger, Kate.
Sorry guys, trigger warning.
Trigger warning. This is why Jen Lou is not going to be in
But look, you can see her feet right here.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, Paul. Oh, there's Paul over there with the pink sheet by the feet thing.
Right there. Up. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. See?
I had no idea that that was even in the photo. I just thought it because like it was a picture. I had no idea. That's crazy. So she's facing the other way.
What way did you think she was facing, babe?
The diagram that they show, her head is over here and her feet are down that way. I can't believe that. I had no idea that was even on there. Oh my goodness.
That's crazy. What I'm curious, but is Paul's body where when they drew the diagram, is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Then that's interesting. That's interesting that they would draw her incorrectly.
Yeah, because on the
Oy vey. I'm having a bad feeling Kate does crime.
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull up the other one. The diagram. I need to like what do you call like order my pictures because I just have a folder with all my pictures in it. And okay, so here's like a different view of it. So the kennels are over here. Here's the overhang.
Oh, there's those grapevines. I had to know where those were at.
Oh, and I seen Ryan say something about where the pond was. I don't know where the pond was, but I know that they drained it and then they would plant sunflowers in the pond and then like fill it back up.
Which is what they were doing that summer. Yeah. So the pond, be able to see the pond. It would have been filled in.
I want to put my glasses on.
Okay, this makes me feel better. The official diagram used in trial is correct, I believe, says
okay.
LFT. Let's hope so. Hey, LFT, by the way, I got your email and I emailed you back.
So here is. So this one is right then, right?
You gotta make it bigger, baby.
The other one they showed. So the other one they showed. There was another one where she was the other way, but I think this one's the one they used in court, and I think this one's right. No, wait. Yeah, because we could see her feet.
Wait. Hold on, let me see.
Oh, the other labeled one. Oh, okay. The first one, like the one with the. Gotcha.
Okay.
So this one's right.
Where's the pond on the property? Okay. I don't know if there's a diagram of it, but from what I can ascertain from the descriptions, it sounds like if you look at that Snapchat video go back, Kate, to that very first picture you showed, like where the fields are at. See, somewhere back over towards the main, like back that up to the, if you're facing it to the left is where the pond is, sort of where that field is that where it's at? That's what I was thinking, because that's where it seemed like they were driving when they were in that Snapchat video looking at trees. I can't hear you. Are you talking?
Oh my God, sorry. I was muted somehow. I don't know how I did that. I don't know how I muted myself. I might have hit a button on my keyboard because I didn't even hit it. So what about right here? There's like a weird out, like all the way to the right. There's like a weird, might be over there even. I don't know.
You know what? Maybe. I don't know. It's weird because
it's a really big property. They go hunting on this property.
What we need to do is there is
I can Google
drone footage And there's drone footage too.
I
See, I
saved. I
really
have the
wish.
drone footage. I do. I
Okay,
have that.
I
Hold on.
really wish that. Now I'm glad we're having the trial now. Don't get me wrong, but it would be so much more ideal if the trial was in the summertime, because Harpoodian wants to take um, the jury out there, and it's a different feel in the summertime. Everything is lush. Of course, I don't know if that proper. I know it's for sale. I don't know if it's been bought, if it's been purchased yet or anything. I don't know. Okay, okay.
Oh my god. Oh, my alarm stopped. So, fun story.
I honestly
My
think it's
screen is
got to
broken.
be
I
right
can't get
there.
in my.
See,
What'd you say?
let me think.
What'd you
Let me
say,
look.
Jen?
It almost looks like it would be. I don't think maybe back that way. I don't know. I have to look again. That looks like it's been covered over this
Or
chunk
this right
right
here?
here. Yeah.
Right here,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like it's been filled in kind of and like fresh.
Mm-hmm.
That might be it right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, what do they do with all the stuff in the pond when they drain it? Just let it all die? I mean,
What do you mean? What do you
like,
think
don't
is
they?
in the
Do
pond?
they put? Do they have like fish and stuff in there? I mean, I
No, it's
guess
just for
no.
ducks.
Ducks, yes, they can catch ducks. I would
I don't
guess that's
know.
where it is because it looks like a fresh area that they.
Yeah. Like I'm not really good at, like, I have always had labs, and they're supposed to be excellent duck hunters because they got the soft mouth. But I've never I will say that my black lab used to go and get golf balls out of the swimming pool. Like, we had one of those bigger but they're kids pools, so they're not deep or whatever, and he used to stick his whole face in the water. And one time I just to check to see if he was really as smart as I thought he was, I marked one of the golf balls, and he got it every single time.
Really?
Hmm. Every single time.
Let me check. I
That's
can't
what I
believe
think. It's behind
somebody.
the kennels over there in that field.
I can't believe somebody took that picture and shared it. Like, where did that come from?
It had to come from, that looks like a crime scene photo.
That's what I mean. Unless they got it in court, but like maybe they were sitting in court and got it, or what?
See,
I
now
wonder
I
if they show the pictures in the press room.
oh, there you go.
Because you know
There
how
you
they have
go.
that
Because they've
separate
been
room.
Yes, because they've been covering the monitors. Remember
Mm-hmm.
they had the box top? Um, okay, Roll Tide has the answer. See, I'm not a duck pond hunter person.
Maybe.
If there are fish in the pond, which I can almost guarantee you it did, the fish are usually removed before it's drained. And then what happens to the fish? Do they just let them go like in the lake or whatever? Because they all
uh,
can't be big enough to eat. Look at how
yeah,
worried I am about fish, and
I know. I'm like that
I
too.
would
But
be a
look at all
terrible
the
farmer.
animals.
I
Yeah.
would be a terrible farmer. I'd be like, I can't eat my friends.
I love watching this guy on Instagram. His name is Matthew something, but he does like farm chores every day, and he
Is he the
takes.
one in the robe?
Yeah,
Yes,
he
he's on
is
he's on
so.
Snap, he's on TikTok too. And
He's hilarious. Fluffy. He's like, and then he's like, I got worms for Fluffy, and then you see Fluffy just come running up like. Or when his donkey got out and he had to go walk
Yes,
down the street in his robe and his straw hat to go get the donkey. Oh man, he is
yes.
funny. I can't think of his name though, but I love watching it. Matthew something. It's Matthew's. I'll have to remember, but he is so funny.
Okay,
Um,
Cambodian says you can see the pond in the drone footage behind the kennels,
Behind the kennels. Oh,
which
let
is
me go
where we
back.
were when we were looking.
Mm,
See,
Back
there's
here.
no, behind it.
Oh,
So
like
this
in the
way.
trees, like I said?
No, where we were pointing, babe. Or is it
Oh,
this? Wait, is it
this
that
is
over there at the
this is
top?
what we. This is by that main house.
We're
Scan
the
further.
worst.
I
Okay.
know. All right. So
Scan
that's the
further.
main.
Tell us when.
Keep going.
Keep going.
I can
Hasn't
do
said
Google
anything.
Earth.
Is it that up there at the top behind those trees to the left?
That's where I was saying initially. Let's just Google
Yeah.
Earth it.
Let's
pull
just
up the
Google.
map.
Yeah, forget this. We're not even gonna, no, we're not playing anymore.
Yeah. It's time. What was the song on he said now the song on Dora the Explorer's like map.
Dora. That one?
She had like a little map song.
Oh.
Oh, that was Backpack.
Because I'm the map, bomb the map, bomb the map.
Oh yeah,
I'm the map.
I don't know how long Moselle Road is. I just know it was on Moselle Road. Okay, Moselle. All right, hold on. Moselle address.
Isn't it like 41? They've only said it 80 billion times in the trial.
Know.
It's like 4107.
Let me try.
Moselle Road. We were just talking about that, Mark. Yes, Cousin Eddie. Which you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of National Lampoon's Vacation. Cousin
Wednesday.
Eddie, you know?
Oh wow, that's gonna be good. Wednesday. Is this it? That's it. I think.
Did I have the address right?
Is that it, guys?
There's the main house. Yeah, that looks I don't know.
Is that the kennels right there in the overhang? It looks like it because there's the part we were looking at. All right.
Yeah.
So I don't see where
It's a house. God, he was so uppity about that. It's a house.
Is that where the pond would be over here? I don't know. So this goes out to the road.
She
too.
says there's a 20-second delay. So you can't tell us there. You got to be like, give us some type of landmark.
Like to the left or
on the map. To the left. Everything you own in the box to the left.
I'm at the right house, right? 41. 47?
Was I even right about the address?
Hold on, let me search 4147. Make sure that I'm at the right one.
I thought it was 4107.
Okay, that is right. All right.
It's 41, or is it 40? What is it? 40?
4147. You were close.
All right.
One number off. I think it's got to be like over here because this looks the most like
dug up and.
Yeah. I don't know where you see a pond, Cambodian, because I don't see one. Maybe in this little area. All right. Well,
I do too. I do. I hope that. I think that they should. Okay, directly behind the trees, behind the kennels, right? Okay. So there's the kennels.
Here.
So it must be where we were saying, or you were saying earlier,
right
up
here.
there towards the left. Up.
Yeah.
And to the left. Right there, that big chunk.
In the drone footage, it looked like a body of water. I don't think so now. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I think it's like over here because this is the same spot that we saw in the drone footage, and it looks like it's like, sand right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine like the pond probably has like sand at the bottom like that. So.
Tia says to check messages. Her computer is being slow.
Okay.
I hope they let the financial
Oh,
stuff in,
this is
because I
okay.
think that even if they do let it in, even if they limit it, like Jeannie is not going to be able to say all the things that she said the other day on the stand, because a lot of that would be considered hearsay, except for the one thing. Jeannie was correct. Not if I heard it directly, it's not hearsay. That's what she said. She corrected the lawyer, and it made me laugh. I like Jeannie. But
That house is huge.
isn't it?
I didn't know it was that big. That's
I didn't know it
huge.
was that big either. So where they were taking us was just their gun room.
Yeah.
That's
This
not
is like,
even like the main house.
oh, this is a good shot. So there's the kennels.
Mm-hmm.
There's the overhang workshop thing, and this is where I guess they parked all their stuff. Well, that looks like there's new planted trees and
What
stuff.
I'm curious about is, where is the footprints that they thought looked like somebody pacing, because they came out of nowhere and they didn't go anywhere. It was just a straight,
Mm. Hey, Princess Megan Elsa.
That's where I want to know, because I'm curious about it, because there were some times during the 911 phone call that it did sound like he was walking back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like he goes over, because they said to check the bodies, and it sounds like he's over there looking at them, and then it sounds like he goes to his car, which I guess
Too.
maybe was over here.
Well, he did go to his car because he was going to drive up to the house to get his gun. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I wonder what time did they process his vehicle? Because they found gunshot residue on his seatbelt.
That's a good question. Mm. Yeah, he definitely changed clothes, I think. I wonder if they have like a Zillow of inside the house, because now.
Oh, it is for sale.
I want to see what it looks like. I'm nosy. Inside the 17-acre Murdaugh home. Let me see. 1,700-acre Murdaugh home. Sorry. This is just all the outside stuff. It's so barn-like. Here, let me show you guys. I love barn houses.
Well, we know he changed clothes at least once.
Yeah. Well,
because
because he had on that fancy outfit earlier.
Yeah,
And
because
he didn't have it on anymore.
Right, so we know he changed at least once. I just feel like, oh, it's an escrow for $3.9 million.
Wow. So that alone was most of her assets then, because she oh yeah, sorry. What am I doing? I thought it was up still. Sorry, guys. Look at the trees all planted down, like the driveway. So fancy. Get that nice wraparound porch.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's beautiful. And the shutters are pretty too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is.
Oh, okay, Mark. So it's an escrow for $3.9 million, and that is to pay the boat lawsuit.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I heard they
about that.
Oh wait, here's.
Oh, LFT got you, girls. Check your messenger yet again. LOL at me and you.
I got it. The Reddit thing. Just waiting for it to load. I don't know what it's doing. Oh, what the heck? It's like sideways for me. How do I make this big? Like the way that Reddit's showing up for me is like the words are going this way.
Oh, that's weird.
Fix yourself. Okay, hold on. Let's try this again.
I think that, and this is going to be problematic later on. It's already been problematic in the beginning, is that they didn't go immediately to his mom's house. And I feel that,
Oh, I think this is the pond. Here we go.
okay.
I don't know where that is though. Like it's in between the trees somewhere.
Oh, okay.
There's a tree stand right there, so they probably hunt the ducks from that stand.
And they cover it up, so there's no need for, like what the Wagner's had with the duck blind, because they used they broke down the guns, stuck them in cement, and used those to anchor the duck blind. And that's how they hid their murder weapons.
I don't know where it is though. Like,
I'll be right back. Give me just a sec, okay?
all right. I don't know if Maggie's beach house is for sale. I'm not sure about that. So, I can't view the Reddit one because for some reason it's all showing up like vertical for me. I don't know why. Like every word is like one letter all the way down. What bank would do a $350K in overdraft, right? I'm curious what the service charge is for a $350K overdraft. Like, I really want to know. Because usually it's like $15, but for that amount of money, I feel like that would be a big service charge. But the bank sold in July. Okay, so they really didn't have much, but I was wondering, let me show you guys the stuff I found last night. All right, so it says, that's not the picture. Hold on. I think they show the picture in here. Yes. Check this out. So this is like a copy of part of her will. Oh, God. It took it off again. Sorry, y'all. Okay, thanks, LFT. So here's like a little bit of her will. And it says, I hereby nominate and appoint my sister, Marion Proctor, as my personal representative of this, my last will and testament, he to serve without bond. Well, she to serve without bond, but then it was crossed out and written in pen. To be Randy Murdaugh. And this was 6 months before she was murdered. $750 charge, and don't forget that bank CEO was fired. Oh, wow. Yeah. Was that the guy who was on the stand yesterday who was friends with him that lent him money, or was that the other guy? Okay, Jen, take your time, girl. Poor baby. So it says, oh no, never mind. So it said, John Marvin Murdaugh, Maggie Murdaugh's brother-in-law, was made personal representative of the estate last year. This was apparently Maggie's sister's name was scratched off as personal representative, and someone wrote Randolph Murdaugh III's name in the 2005 will. See a screenshot below. John Marvin has been in the spotlight this week after he did 2 interviews with both. So that was when they did the interviews on ABC. And I think he discharged his duties as the PR in a lawful manner that makes them proud, Maggie proud, and Buster proud, he said. So I guess It was forged, maybe. Or do you think that Alex could have done it like that day? It says father-in-law. See it, Jen? Look. It was crossed out, and they crossed out sister and put father-in-law. So I guess Buster's the fourth. But yeah, I didn't even know you could just cross it out and write it. So it makes me wonder if, like, maybe Alex. It says it was done 6 months before she was killed, but like, what if he just like wrote it in? I mean, I've never seen that before. You just cross it out and write it in, like. According to documents, Maggie Murdaugh had $57.77 left in her Bank of America account, the only bank account solely in Maggie's name listed at the time of her death. In Maggie and Alex's joint Palmetto State bank account, Maggie's share only amounted to $4,154. Nothing is ever as it seems when it comes to the Murdaughs. Now, $4,154 is a lot of money to a lot of people, but not the Murdaughs, especially considered that Alex is accused of stealing nearly $9 million from more than a dozen clients in the last decade, which I'm really curious where all this money went. Like, I wonder if it's in some offshore accounts that people don't even know about. Oh, you can if it's initialed and notarized. So maybe it was done 6 months ago. I mean, unless he knows somebody who would notarize it for him and make it look like 6 months ago, but I guess it would have to be like in the system. Yeah, Chris Wilson. Yeah, so Chris Wilson said that he admitted to him that he stole the money or whatever.
He admitted he stole the money from him and stole the money from a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And now they're having Eddie come in Wednesday, right? I think it's Wednesday.
That's what I mean, Cambodian. She would need to be the one who initialed it and be notarized. It could not just be, you can't just cross out legal documents like that. And then usually what would happen is, because sometimes it does happen where something is drawn up, a legal document like a will is drawn up, and there's a mistake in it. And what they'll do is they'll cross it, or you don't agree to it, right? So they'll cross out the part that you don't agree, and they'll print in what the change needs to be, and it'll be initialed and it'll be notarized, and then a new document will be printed with the correct terms, for example, but they'll be kept together.
So is there any way that you can, like, it can be faked if he knows somebody who is like worked in a notary or something?
Well,
this is where the pond was.
Well, yeah, because look at what's her face did. The mom, the Wagner, Angela, is that her name? Angie Wagner. She did it. She notarized all kinds of shit. She used her mom's notary to do it and forged her mom.
What if he did it right before and made it look like right before he killed her, made it look like
she changed her mind?
She changed it 6 months ago. Because it's strange that it's still in pen, like they never rewrote up the document in all that time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, what's interesting about it is, let's go. Where did we find that article yesterday, Kate? Do you remember where we were looking up who all was listed in the lawsuit? It was Alec, Buster.
I think Criminal, I found it. It was Alec, Buster, Randy.
I'll look at it again. I had it somewhere.
Alec, Buster, Alec's dad, and the brother. Right?
Randall.
Yeah. So.
Or is it Rand? Yeah, because they call him Randy.
Yeah, Buster, Alec, Alec's dad, Randy, and then was it?
Hold on,
I'm looking Randy it up again. Or John Marvin? I don't remember what.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up because I've had enough now.
Why was he sending Uncle
Because
Eddie large amounts of money? Maybe to buy. Yeah, but buying pills wouldn't cost that much. Like
it's not for listen,
for one
I will tell
habit.
you guys, it wasn't for pills, not for
Yeah.
personal use, because he is a personal injury lawyer. Personal injury lawyers will send you to their doctors. So he knew doctors. He could get a
Yeah.
script, but it wasn't for personal use. Do I
No.
think that he probably threw back a few pills? Probably. He's probably on all kinds of shit. Do I think that do I think he was pilled out and that's why he acted like he did and that like his excuse, like what he's saying? No, I do not. I don't think
Yeah,
that
I
his
agree.
I don't think his pill usage, it'd be different if he was on an illicit drug.
I mean,
Illegal
look,
drugs are expensive and harder to get, but
but not
prescriptions,
that expensive unless he's like pushing weight from like,
right,
Mexico
exactly.
and selling it or something. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think he sent Eddie money, to do some dirty work for him and hide money or bury money maybe or some like how people take money and then they what do you call it, like did you ever see the movie or the show The Ozarks when they get the
Mhm.
money and then they put it through the strip club to make it
They launder
uh
it.
yeah, launder it. That's the word I was looking for. Maybe
Yes.
he had him doing some money laundering scheme or something. But yeah, he
I
was addicted for over 20 years, but still, like, it would, I mean, pills cost a lot, but not 4 million.
okay, I got it.
Thank you. And 5, 6, 7, 8.
All right. Shortly after Mallory Beach's death, Beach's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Alec Murdaugh, his oldest son, Richard Murdaugh Jr. So he's named for his dad. But Buster's legal name has to be Richard Alex Murdaugh, just like his father, in order for him to be a junior, because he's
Oh,
a junior.
okay. I
So
got
Buster
yours.
is a junior. All right. Who allegedly provided Paul with his driver's license to purchase the alcohol under legal age, and Gregory M. Parker Incorporated, doing business at Parker's Corporation, the convenience store chain that allegedly sold the alcohol to the minors, among others. Well, we need to know the others.
Yeah.
Okay, the suit was amended in February 2022, 3 years after Beach's death, to include the estates of the late Maggie and Paul Murdaugh, alleging that Murdaugh's parents condoned the underage drinking that led to the crash. Additional civil suits were filed by Anthony Cook, Beach's boyfriend at the time of her death, as well as Connor Cook. Connor is Anthony Cook's cousin and the one that they were initially trying to pin as the driver.
They were trying to frame it on him. Yeah.
Correct, correct.
And he's suing them for that, right? And wait, was that
Yes,
his cousin or his friend?
it's his cousin. They are
Oh my
cousin.
God.
Anthony and Connor Cook are cousins. And the
That's
reason that
messed up.
how I found that out is because when I was listening to the Verizon Wireless guy, he was listing all of the records that Verizon pulled, and among them was Connor Cook, and it stood out to me, and I was like, Connor Cook, why would they pull his? It that he
Mm-hmm.
was part of the boat crash, right? So then I went to what all of us true crime people do. I hit up the Googles and I was like, yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing is, I know a lot of people are like, what do they have? What do they have? And how did they pin it on Alec? The first thing that they did, Alec was not treated like a suspect from the beginning. In fact, a part of the reason that Stephen's case was looked into, reopened is a different thing. But they did go back and look at Stephen's case. They looked at the boat crash and they looked at all of it because they thought it was revenge. Now, whatever it was, and that caused them to reopen, which I find interesting because um, I don't know how it could ever be officially closed. First of all, the manor of death was never determined. It's always said pending investigation. So I don't, to reopen a case implies that a case was closed. For
Yeah,
example, like it
I'm
makes no
dying to know what they found that
what
that they believe is connected to the Stephen Smith case, like
whatever it is.
paint or something from like a car
Yes,
or
there is a cook. LFT is correct. Please hold and let me check my notes because she's 100% correct. There is a cook that's connected, and I just have to find it.
so Maggie was right in this thing right here, like right where this
Yeah,
dirt pile was, and Paul is right here.
I think, see where that dirt road is? I'm pointing at my screen like you can actually see what I'm pointing at. So that I think that trail, dirt, whatever, sidewalk, whatever that is, in between
Mm-hmm.
that overhang and the kennels, I think she was running away
Mm-hmm.
back, like towards, it just breaks my heart.
Makes me wonder if they
Well,
came out, like if somebody that was waiting in the woods or and came, because there's a door in the back here of the storage room. So there's a door in the front and a door in the back, and there were shells inside of the storage room.
mm-hmm,
So it makes me wonder if maybe they came through this back door here and shot him from behind, and the shells got left in the storage
mm-hmm,
room, and then she heard it and started running, and then they got her. Somebody
mm-hmm.
else got her next with the second gun, or unless there was. That's the only reason why I think maybe it's possible that Eddie was there or somebody,
Well,
you
he
know.
definitely, I think he had help. I think he had help getting rid of
Mm-hmm.
some stuff for sure. So, yes, okay. So, on Stephen's death certificate, which is issued by the coroner, okay, there's the cause of death, which was ruled um, blunt trauma vehicular. It's like a vehicle versus pedestrian. That's how his cause of death was ruled. But his manner of death, so a manner of death will either be homicide, self-harm, obviously the S word,
Mm-hmm.
accident, or undetermined. Or wait, yeah, undetermined. Is that right? Homicide,
Uh,
natural
or
causes, and
natural cause.
undetermined.
Yeah.
Natural causes and undetermined. That's the part that has never been filled out on Stephen Smith's death certificate. So what I don't, because it was supposed to be pending, and there are, well, yeah, five, because it can be an accident and it can be undetermined. So five. All right. So regardless, none of that was filled out. It was filled out. It was filed as undetermined pending an investigation. And the problem is that from the at the very beginning of it, when everybody arrived on the scene, it was
Mm-hmm.
not thought to be anything having to do with the vehicle. At first, they thought it was a gunshot wound, but they all sort of agreed. The coroner did, the deputy coroner, SLED was out there taking pictures, even the Hampton County Sheriff's Office was out there. They all thought that it was a homicide. And it was because the medical examiner, after the autopsy, said that it was the result of essentially basically a hit and run. But a hit and run is, that can be later that can be determined an accident or whatever, but or a homicide. But at the end of the day, that's not what was so then it went to the highway patrol. The highway patrol ended up getting jurisdiction over his case because he was because the medical examiner because of the medical examiner's findings. And they did investigate the case, and they had the doors slammed in their faces multiple times by multiple people that talked in the beginning stopped talking, moved away, et cetera, et cetera. It was a big huge cluster F. And so yeah.
Crystal, I think it's possible he could have had cousin Eddie do it, because if you could convince somebody that they're better, like if Paul was going to go to jail anyway, and Maggie could get, or maybe he made it like, oh, well, Maggie will get in trouble too because there's money in her accounts or something. You know what I mean? Like maybe it was presented to him as like their lives are over anyway. If you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
And there's
you never know.
already an investigation. Back in 2021 is when was it 2021 or 2022? No, it had to be 2021. Back in July of 2021, SLED officially took over the case, which means
Mm-hmm.
that they don't suspect they're investigating. So it's open, and it's been open since 2021. And
Yeah.
what I'm hoping is that this trial and seeing a Murdaugh, even if he isn't convicted, the fact that he was put on trial this way, which I think he will be convicted, will encourage somebody who knows something to say something. Because maybe, maybe they don't know what they know, and listening to this trial will somehow, spark something, and they'll remember, oh crap, you know what, blah, 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 blah. And they'll say what they know. Somebody
Yeah.
knows something. Now, my personal opinion, the way I've always suspected it, I have never suspected that Buster did anything. I always suspected Paul, that it was because of Buster, but that Paul's the one that Paul and a couple of his friends did something.
Yeah. Wait, with Steven, you think Paul did?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Paul would have been really young then, though. Like,
There's only a year between Paul and maybe 2 years between Paul and Stephen was 19 when this happened. So Paul would have been like 17. Paul's name came up,
I thought
not
it was
just Buster's,
Buster.
not just Buster's. Buster's
Oh,
came up,
Paul's
but
came up too.
in the beginning, yeah, and then there were other people who, if you watch the Low Country one, they have
Mm-hmm.
audio of somebody saying Paul,
Oh, they have audio of someone. Oh,
of
saying that
somebody
Paul's
accused.
involved. I
Mm-hmm.
think maybe they had like a baseball bat or like a heavy piece of equipment, like
Well,
a pole or something, and they drove by and like hit him with it as they were driving by.
I'll say this:
And maybe
those
he called them for help or for gas or something, you know?
well, this is the thing about that. Paul, Stephen Smith's iPhone was recovered, completely intact, not a scratch on it, not a crack, nothing. The screen wasn't, and it was in his pocket. Okay,
Yeah.
so the first people who had it were the Hampton County Sheriff's Office. They took it
Mm-hmm.
out of his pocket. They also took possession of Stephen Smith's key to his vehicle. And anyway, they couldn't get it unlocked, which has never made sense because Sandy Smith, Stephen's mom, was the other.
Mm-hmm.
His was a fingerprint, and she was the other fingerprint. She wasn't. How do I put this? That's not right. She
Like to open his phone?
Yes, she could use her fingerprint to unlock it. She was the emergency, I suppose you could say. You know how you
Okay.
can have two people set it up?
Yeah.
So she was the other person that can unlock the phone. The phone has never been unlocked. The only thing that they were ever able to pull from the any electronics was from Stephen's iPad, and it is a message that is in Spanish. And I've read it before. I can't remember exactly what it says, but on not this Sunday, but sometime after this Sunday, at some point, I promise. I'm almost finished with it. I've been working on this video that lays the whole thing out, the whole investigation, and I will I will translate it. I mean, I just don't remember right off the top of my head what it says.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew immediately when I read it what it said. I mean, I'm Mexican and I took Spanish for 4 years, so I can read it.
So, what do you make of Paul's apartment door being left open? Like when they went to go look into like Paul's, or I think it, or his, some one, I think where he lived, the door was left open, like it was like
So
unlocked or
wasn't
like
Will
open,
Love?
not. Sorry,
You
go
mean
ahead.
like open, like the door, like it was not just unlocked, but literally
Open.
open? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Wasn't Will Loving staying there? They
Oh,
were.
that's
Wasn't he couch surfing? And didn't he say he
you
took
did
off?
say that. You're right.
So what I'm curious about though is, did he
A
leave
property
it?
manager notified Columbia Police the local authorities near the college about an open door found at one of the apartments the day after Murdaugh and his mother were shot dead. Sources confirmed to the state that the apartment belonged to Paul. There were no indications of forced entry at the residence. I don't. So I guess it was like a college, like his college apartment.
Oh, he was staying in a dorm or off-campus housing.
I guess that's what it sounds like because it says.
But what's interesting is the choice of words that Will used to describe what they were fixing to do. He said, "We had a contract on a house." Now, that is buying a house language. If you're leasing a house, if you're renting a house, most kids that age would have said, "We signed a lease, not we had a contract." They were I mean, this kid didn't even work. Paul didn't. I mean, well, I guess he did
Mm-hmm.
work. He worked for the family, but whatever.
Worked for
Like,
the dad's brother.
mm-hmm.
Will Loving was about 3 miles at Grandpa's house. Okay. That's where he was staying.
I thought he was staying at Paul. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to his testimony again to make sure.
When it's a door, not a door, when it's ajar.
But bum.
Oh, wait. I can finally do. Oh, wait, I don't have it on here. So I got a little like stream thingy where you hit buttons, and I set it up so I had like a little sound
Oh, you
on it,
did?
but I had to like redo it, and it's not there anymore. I'll get it back.
I only have really one. I have a couple, but this is my favorite joke. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police.
There was this kid on TikTok. He was like, why did the chicken cross the road? And mom was like, why? And he's like, because. That's so like, because like a chicken. I don't know why I thought it was so funny, but I laughed for like 5
It is funny.
minutes.
It's as funny as that's the sound of the police. It's not really funny, but it is funny.
Mm-hmm. I like stupid jokes like that.
Me too.
I'm entertaining myself.
Sometimes I'm very, very easily amused. Sometimes it's harder. All right.
What did I do? Oh, let me get that other article up. I'm trying to find the picture of. Oh, here it is. Curtis Smith. So here's what had. Oh, let me just download it because I can zoom that way.
LFT says I'm going totally off subject. Sorry, but please do another drawing telephone game again soon. I need a laugh.
I got you. You have to play with us, Jen. It is
I'll play, of
so
course.
Fun. It's called Gardic Phone, and it's kind of like Whisper Down the Lane, but you have to write like a random sentence, and then they'll randomly send that sentence to all the players, like in random. Like you'll get somebody else's sentence, they'll get your sentence, and you have to draw what they wrote. Then it'll randomly send them out again, and then that person has to guess what the drawing is.
I love that.
And then it ends up being really funny at the
I
end.
love it. Okay, I'll tell
And then they
next
make
time
a
y'all play.
meme. They make a meme, and you get to watch how it went from one thing to the last thing. It
Oh, I
was
can't. Oh,
so
that sounds
funny.
fun. Yeah, count me in. I'm down. Absolutely.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, we were laughing so hard that night. It was really funny. So
Um,
this is
what's
what
going on with cousin? Can you make his face like? Can you get in on his hair?
yeah, like what is that? It's like bleached and all over
I'm.
the place. He's got some
Mm,
like
I
I don't know
appreciate the
what.
mullet. You know, he's business in the front, party in the back.
Yeah, I
Wednesday, we
don't.
think LFT.
Yeah, Wednesday. As long as everything goes to plan, but he I don't know if that's like scruff or dirt.
I think it's both.
Yeah,
I don't know. He looks like he's been like he is
his
damp.
neck like goes into his head too.
He looks damp, like maybe he just got the gel shower. Hey,
Yeah.
Shmina.
Hey, Shmita.
And then that's why, because he
Mm-hmm.
looks damp. I don't know what else is. Maybe it's sweat. I don't know, but I
Maybe.
want to know about those dadgum hairs in her hand, in Maggie's hand.
Or that CB Rose. There's a possibility that CB Rose DNA could have been under her fingernails.
That's true. I want to know about it all, and I want to know that the dog but the thing that's got me stumped is it's brown and doesn't match anybody. And then I saw that gorgeous chocolate lab, but they would know that they know the difference between human hair and dog hair.
You missed my black
Obviously.
backdrop. I can bring it in. It's just a sheet. I was gonna. I did this room so I can put some glowy stuff on the
I
wall.
like it. I like
I did
it.
have a black backdrop before. I can whip it out sometimes, right?
Oh, Kate's gonna whip it out, y'all. It's gonna be that kind of show.
Look, I won't be whipping out no titties like Molly Golightly or anything.
Kate's
Just a
getting
black.
turned. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
held for
shan't be whipping
safekeeping.
anything out either.
I thought that was so strange because it was like, wasn't he arrested for like, wasn't he in jail for setting up that whole like
Yes. So this
conspiring with him? So he must
I
have took
need
a
to
deal.
look more into Curtis Smith, Edward Curtis Smith. I like Curtis. But because like I said, I only kind of did a cursor, like I watched the documentaries, right?
Yeah,
Recently.
me too.
And I haven't like Stephen Smith's case is what stood out most to me. Also, um, Gail Satterling, they stood out, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So did Mallory's. But until there's some kind of declaration in Satterling's case, there's nothing I can't really I'm gonna of course talk about it because it's part of the case. But I started with Stephen because chronologically his would have been first. So I was wondering, like, if I set it up chronologically, if we will be able to understand what was going on, have a glimpse into the household and the pressures, perhaps, from these
Mm-hmm.
secrets. And Satterfield, what did I say? Did I say it wrong? I'm sorry, Satterfield. And so I haven't really looked into Cousin Eddie, but the way that the
Okay,
documentaries,
I found him on Truth Finder. Let me
okay, because the way
check
that the
his.
documentaries make it seem is as if Alec, the incident happened, Alec gave a description of the person who does not in any way, shape, or form at all match Cousin
No,
Eddie at
no,
all. Like he said that it
not at
was,
all.
first of all, he said he was young. Strike one. He also said
Mm-hmm.
he had very short hair. Strike two. And thin. Strike three. All right. So nothing, but they picked this bozo up. So I'm like, what is going on over here? But they sort of, and then they say that it was arranged. Like and Eddie gave an interview and he says that he went over to Alec's house that day and Alec was feeling blue and depressed, and that he helped him out. And then he says that he feels like a snowflake that gets caught up, is rolling down the hill, and it just gets bigger and bigger. I think he was trying to say it was like a snowball that then turns in, an avalanche and all that crap. I think that's the analogy he was trying to make, but it didn't quite come out correctly. Anyway,
Mhm.
that's kind of all they left. They didn't really go into it a whole lot. They've kind of left. They did show some footage of him under arrest and signing some papers while he's in handcuffs and whatnot, and in jail attire, but they didn't, there wasn't any follow-up. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe at the time that both of the documentaries were made, his case must have been up in the air,
Yeah,
and
so
not
what's
not a
weird
whole
is,
lot was known.
so all were like, all right, so he had a couple charges from that, I remember, like conspiracy to commit
Mm-hmm.
like fraud or whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah, because it was for insurance fraud.
Yeah. So all of his charges that were for that, and I think there's three, that instead of saying actual charges, they all say holding for safekeeping.
Shut the front door.
Yeah. Arrest date. It has three different spots. Here, I'll share it real quick.
See, this is
everyone
interesting
knows.
to me because I have suspected for a minute here that the house of cards that the Murdaugh name has been built on would come crumbling down when Alec's dad passed away. He
Yeah.
was the
He seemed like
last.
the glue that held
Well,
everything
yeah, and
together,
he was the
or
last, like.
respect, like super. I feel like
Well,
he
he
was
ran the
super.
show. Like
Yeah.
look, who did Paul call? He didn't call his dad at the boat accident. He
He
called his
called his grandpa.
grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. He was the one running the show. And I think that he was the head of that family, and I think, and ran the town. And I think that um once he passed away, the grip that the Murdaugh name had on that town dissipated. And over time, I mean, I I did not think that we were going to hear any of the financial stuff. I was so floored when the
Yeah, same.
defense opened that door. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, that's crazy.
That was really stupid. They did that
So
because so he has a pretty clean record besides
fraud. Did you just mute
hold for
yourself?
safekeeping. No,
Okay.
can you not hear me?
I can hear you now. Sorry.
Okay. It says so: speeding, holding for safekeeping, harassment, hold for safekeeping, harassment,
Ooh.
speeding.
What's his harassment charge from?
1997.
Oh, okay. We can't be holding that against him. Wonder who he was harassing.
But I mean, other than that, he's got a pretty clean record, and
He's not a violent offender.
no, I thought, like, maybe I was gonna pull up like a whole, bunch of stuff, because I'm like, how did he get caught up in this? Is he like some criminal? And that's how, Alex was like, let me talk him into doing this, but he's not.
No, they know it. I mean, they're relatives, obviously, but they also Alec represented Eddie also in some personal injury. He probably shafted him too. Jesus, it makes you wonder if any of the people that Alec Murdaugh ever represented got any. I
Money.
mean, I think he pilfered off of everybody. I think it started small, and then he got greedy. You know how it goes when you don't get
Yeah,
caught. You
you
go
take a
bigger
little
and
bit, and
bigger
you're
and
like, oh, I
bigger.
can get away with this.
And Jeannie, she really, like, look, I admire her for what she did. She saw, she knew that she was going to face some scrutiny from the Murdaugh family, but she was doing
Mm-hmm.
her job and she did the right thing, and I respect her for that. But it does, it did not escape me, and I haven't forgotten when she testified what she said about the fact that it wasn't the first time, and that it basically, as long as he paid it back, it was just sort of like swept under the rug. It was no big deal. No, it is a big deal, and I'm curious if the firm is going to go after Alec in any way, because they settled his debt with the clients.
Yeah,
They
they
paid it all
paid the
back.
clients off. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And Chris Wilson or whatever, that poor guy,
When
he
he
screwed
cried
him
on
in.
the stand like that, I was like,
Oh, when he
oh,
started sniffling, oh my god,
yes, I can't handle when dudes cry.
I
It,
can't
it-
either.
and, and when it's a genuine cry, like when Paul, why do I keep wanting to call him that? When Alec ugly cried, and he shot that snot rocket out of his nose, um, and Lawn Crime Petty Asses zoomed in on it. I didn't feel bad for him. I thought it was I just don't. There's something about him that just, and I'm usually the loophole kind of person that can see, okay, well, maybe this, that, or the third, but with him, it just absolutely rubs me the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard his 911 call, I thought it was genuine. I was like, "Oh my god, this guy sounds like really upset." And then when I found all this stuff, I'm like, "Damn, he's good."
When
Because
I first heard it, I didn't.
really,
It
I thought it
just
was like
sounded like he was trying to make himself upset. Like, what got to me is how he would
maybe it's just
sound
his voice. Like he has
super
that.
hype. Like he'd be,
Yeah.
all like out of breath and freaking out, and then he would just turn it off. And see, the thing, I guess it just, when I'm upset, I can get upset in a very quickly. What I can't do is come down very quickly. If you get me to be upset, if there's a situation that causes me to be upset, it takes me a
Yeah.
while to calm down from being upset.
I'll agree with that in the car though, like because we just seen the car video
Oh,
now.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
goes from like sobbing
Hmm.
to like, "Oh," and then he's just fine answering questions. And it's like, how in the hell? And not only
Right.
that, but he answers the questions so like detailed. I would have been like, I can't even think right now. You know what I mean? So it was
Right.
just he was very, very detailed and composed, but then he would like break down for a second and then be composed. It was really strange.
Hmm.
Like he
I
almost didn't
mean,
even seem like nervous.
I'll say this: when my mom when she died, I told this story before. She died in her home. She ended up having like a massive heart attack, but at the time we didn't know that, and she was like, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours away from where I lived. So when I got the phone call, it was my sister, and she had the investigator on the phone too, and she called me on three-way, and I was, I had taken this was on a Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
because she had spent the prior week with me, and we drove her home on Sunday, and Tuesday she died. Anyway, when they
Mm-hmm.
called, I remember, first of all, I was like, what the, and but it was, I remember being composed, even though I was freaking out, because her door was open. And it's, I wanted to give them the most accurate information just in case. I mean, they said right away it didn't look like it was forced entry, or there was no trauma or anything. They kind of thought that it was a heart attack or something. But but there were certain questions that I just couldn't answer, because I just couldn't think, because
Yeah.
I just talked to her. It was just
Yep.
messed up.
I wouldn't even be able to like put a birth. I wouldn't even be able to think of birthdays or anything because like I mean, you are usually when like an emergency happens, as long as there's nobody in my family, I get in like super focused,
Hmm.
like I guess the adrenaline puts me in like a very super focused, organized, like do this, do this, do this. But in that case, I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd be
I
like, I don't
When
know.
my
I can't
youngest
even think of my
daughter,
kid's birthday. I'd be saying,
when my youngest daughter had a febrile seizure, and I didn't know what it was, but I was holding her, and she'd had a fever, and the doctor said, "Well, it's a low grade fever. Give, don't give her any Tylenol. It's her body. She
Mhm.
needs to whatever." And then it went up to 100, and I gave her Tylenol. And then I think within 15, 20 minutes, I remember because I was talking to my mom on the phone, she just started like bubbling. And I knew something was wrong. I said, "Mom, I got to go." And I called 911. So
Mhm.
they get there, and I'm on the ambulance, and these assholes, they pissed me. I was so annoyed, could not figure out how to transfer pounds to kilograms. And I was like, "Are you kidding?" I remember being very calm. I said, "Are you kidding me? She's 20 pounds. This is the easiest one.
Yeah.
Multiply it by 2.2, you'll figure it out." And they're like, but I was very calm. And even when like they thought that maybe she had spinal meningitis and they wanted to do a spinal tap, they're like, "Do you need to leave?" And I was like, no, I'll be right here. I'll be fine." I couldn't leave her. I had to be right there. I had to know everything. And I didn't, and I knew if I freaked out or showed any emotion at all, they would
It would
kick me
freak
out.
her out.
Well, they would kick me out. No,
Oh,
because
yeah,
what
that
ended up
too.
happening is they gave her Versed, but what they did was they gave her the nasal spray, and they couldn't get her to stop seizing. So they
Oh my
started a
God.
main line and gave her IV Versed. So when she got to the hospital, the nasal Versed kicked in and she stopped breathing and had to be intubated.
Oh, oh
And
my
I
God.
knew if that I there was no way in hell I was leaving her. And I knew if
Mhm.
I freaked out or if I showed any emotion, they were going to kick me out.
Kick you
So I
out.
was like
Yeah.
super calm. And after everything, she got stable and everything was fine. The nurses all came by. "We have never seen a mom so calm." And I was like, "I'm freaking the fuck out." I just didn't want to freak out and make your job harder.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
yeah. Anyway.
But oh, here's another thing I want to talk about. Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about this last night. The
Okay.
original 911 call that we all heard was
Mm-hmm.
about 7 minutes and 42 seconds. But there was also like a whole section of the 911 call that we didn't hear. I'd say like what, 2 more minutes of it. How long do you think that extra they played like an extra part that they bleeped out of the original 911 call. Let's just say it
Oh,
was about 10 minutes.
okay. Which part did they bleep out? Because I didn't notice.
So I don't remember, like, hold on, let me Google it. But they took out a part. Um, what day was that?
When they played the 911 call?
Yeah, it was the day they played the 911
I think it
call.
might have been. Okay, so if you're looking at
And there
long
was like
term,
a whole part of it that originally wasn't in the 911
I don't
call.
think I listened to the 911 call during the trial. That might have been during nap time. I'm not going to lie.
Well, all right, so
If you're
let's
having
just say
trouble seeing, babe, why don't you put your glasses on your face?
they glare, and then y'all can't see
No,
my
you
face.
look cute. No, you can still see your.
Wait, I have my other ones I could put on that aren't as
Okay.
glary.
But I just hate to see you squinting because that's going to give you crow's feet.
I know.
See,
All
I'm
right.
looking out for you, Kate.
Thanks, girl.
You're welcome.
All right, so the call was made at 10:07,
Okay.
and first responders arrived 18 minutes later.
Okay.
And we'll just say, I don't know if they have the whole version from like online, but I know they said there was a part that that wasn't released. Yeah, I'm trying to
Okay. Well,
find it.
there is a part. Now, this I do remember hearing in court.
Mhm.
So I must have listened to part of it and just didn't notice. There is a part when it's on Detective Green's body cam footage, Officer Green at the time. Paul, what the fuck is wrong with you, Jen? Alec is talking to the officer who's arrived. He's talking to Officer Green, and he is
Mhm.
still on the phone with 911 because you can hear it in his body
So
cam
he was on.
footage.
So that's my thing. His like first call had to have been to like Rogan, because or like the very next call, because the Rogan call was made at 10:26 or something like that. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure.
All right, let's do the
There was
math.
3 calls to Rogan. One was at like 10:26, another one at like 10:30 something, and then another one maybe a little bit like later than that.
All right.
But if that's the case, he was definitely trying to do damage control, because why the hell, before calling your whole family, call Rogan?
Well, remember,
So
he
they
hung
have
up
his.
on 911. They
Yeah.
called him back.
Okay. So
Remember,
maybe
he
he
said,
called family in between. But
well,
still,
no,
that's so.
I think this is what I think he did. I think he called 911 and then talked to them for a while, a few minutes, right? Hung up, called his family, and 911 calls him back. And then he's still on the phone. So if his phone call started at 10:07, right? And they got there 18 minutes later,
Mhm.
what is that? 7
Uh,
10:25,
yeah.
right? 10:25. When did he call? And through the call logs?
I get that Rogan like lived up the street, but still, it is strange. Why would you want this kid to come
Well,
see, to
but
be at the crime scene where Maggie
think
and
about
Paul
it.
are
But think
like,
about it, Kate. If they arrived at if the first responders arrived at 10:25
mhm,
and they're asking him questions, the whole reason the first responders are there are to get to help, right? So in the
mhm.
middle of giving the lowdown, you're making phone calls too.
Yeah. I think he was calling Rogan to do damage control because
I
he
think it
knew
was too. I think he
he
was
knew
trying to
that
find out what
Paul
he.
was. Mhm.
Yep, I think so too. I think what he was trying to figure out is what did Rogan know,
Yeah, exactly.
and I
Just
think
like they
that
do damage control with the hospital, with the like
yes, yes,
anytime anything happens, they go into damage control mode and they want to get above everything. And I feel like that call to Rogan was so soon. Why would you want this kid to come here and see Paul's dead body on the ground? Or, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
that's
Well, the
fucked up.
reason why
I'm sorry.
it's not it's okay. The call in and calling him in and of itself, Ryan, would not be strange. It is the timing of when he called Rogan. He would have been calling Rogan as he is trying to get his wife and son help figure out. Look,
Yeah.
according to Alec, this is a huge property. Okay,
Even if I
just
knew they were
because,
dead, I would still want
but
paramedics there
how
right
does he
away.
even know that the perpetrator has left? It's a huge ass property.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want them to get to, at that point they're
Why
not
would you
going to
want
be
to
able
bring
to
a young
help,
guy there
right?
when
At this
when
point
they were
all
just
they're going to be
murdered?
able to do is start the investigation and secure the scene and make sure there isn't somebody laying in wait. Remember, if you're thinking that it's retaliation for the boat accident, you're involved in the boat accident too, sir. So don't play with us. We all know what you were doing up at that hospital, right? And it's your family name at the end of the day, right? That's what people were upset about. That's why Paul got away with what he got away with initially. So that's the point, is that it was so quickly. He would have been bringing a kid who consider
Potentially
him to
putting him in
be
danger.
exactly. He
Yeah,
had
I just
just
could not
pulled up.
believe. I just couldn't believe how close the time frame was where he called him. I'm like, that was just so unnecessary unless
Mm-hmm.
he was worried about it. And not only that, but like I think they're doing pretty well now, and I think he's gonna have a hard time explaining away
We like
why he was at the
Rogan.
camp.
We don't like Alec. It's not Rogan's fault. Is going to be. Rogan gave up something that I personally don't think people paid enough attention to. He said early in the investigation, and this is the thing that the defense doesn't want to acknowledge. It's Alec that caused Alec to be a suspect, not anybody, not the Popos.
Mm-hmm.
When he said that he heard Mr. Alec on the phone, that's that was key. That is,
Yeah.
first of all, the video was intended for him, but it was never sent to him. He never got it. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
see that video until, I think, what, September, November, somewhere in that. I mean, it was a while in between. But he had already been interviewed by investigators and had already said in front of Maggie's parents, "Yeah, I heard Alec on the phone." Because I don't
Mm-hmm.
think at that point I don't think he knew what Alec had been telling everybody. All
Yeah,
of it.
he was just answering questions. He didn't know that
Exactly.
Alex said that he was taking a nap.
Exactly.
And that's why it's so important for police to keep information in a case
Thank you.
quiet,
That's
because the
right.
fact that Rogan didn't know that, if he had known that Alex said he was taking a nap, now I don't think Rogan would have done this anyway, but he was like a second dad to him, so maybe he would have been like, oh, maybe it wasn't him, you know what I mean? Or
Exactly. He might have doubted himself. He might have thought
yeah.
the other thing, did I hear the killer? He might have doubted himself. But the fact of the matter is, Rogan puts Alec at that scene before he ever saw that video. And the video only confirms it.
Mm-hmm.
It's problematic
Yep.
for
Yeah,
the
Chris was
defense.
Chris was big too, because
He
he
was
he
big too.
he confessed to Chris about the crimes, but I
But
just
Chris wasn't allowed on, Chris testified outside of the jury's presence.
yeah. So they haven't ruled on that yet, right? He
No,
hasn't.
no, they're going to continue on Monday. They've got more witnesses.
Oh wow. Yeah. So wait, they have more. They have more financial witnesses.
They want, yes. See, the thing
Wow.
is that
Well, they said they were
judge,
bringing a lot of people in.
yeah, and the thing is that this judge wants to be overly cautious. He
Mhm.
is very keenly aware of the fact that he's surrounded by attorneys. The defendant is an attorney, even though he can't practice anymore, and his family is full of attorneys. His friends are attorneys. So whenever there's an appeal in a case, let's say this goes all, we get to the end and he's convicted. The first thing that's going to happen is an appeal. And the first thing they do when they file the appeal is they get a transcript and they go through the transcript and they look for trial errors. Those are the first appeals that are made.
Yeah.
So typically, so one of the grounds, let's say this judge allows the financial in. If he does not hold an in-camera hearing, which is what he's doing now, and it's not a thorough in-camera hearing. See, because remember, he has to weigh what he doesn't want is for the prejudicial nature of the testimony to outweigh the probative value. So the probative value has to outweigh the prejudicial nature. And the only way to know is for them to have this hearing and for the state to put the witnesses on that they think will show motive in a probative respect versus a prejudicial respect. But if he doesn't hold this hearing and do it very thoroughly, his judgment can likely be overturned on appeal, and judges don't
Mhm.
like their rulings overturned. So
Yeah.
he's doing a good job.
Mark was saying earlier they got to be careful that
Hmm.
they don't overdo it, because
Right.
all you really need is just show the motive,
Correct.
and that be it.
Correct. So I think that because it's not in front, I think that what I think we're seeing is not what they're going to end up saying in front of the jury. I think once the let's say that they allow it in. I think what we're going to see, the testimony in front of the jury is going to be pared down significantly, because I think the prosecutor is keenly aware of this. You don't want to give the defense an opportunity to then say how about all, let's say there's 15 witnesses that testify to motive and to the financial aspect, right? There's 15 potential suspects who all had a motive themselves to, have revenge on Alec. So they're going to have to, I mean, I think it'll be significantly pared down. The people that I would like to see the most are Jeannie, Gloria's son, Chris Wilson, so far. Of everybody that's
So
testified.
what do they have Gloria's son up there for? Because that would be like,
Okay, because there was a confession.
How does that link to motive?
It
because it more links to his character, but are they allowed to open that door up and just do it for character?
No, it has to go to motive. There is an admission of, what's the word that they used? It's not an admission of guilt. It's an admission of, he essentially,
So I mean,
I can't think of it. My brain is buffering right now.
Maybe because he admitted to him that he.
Well, I think that one's gone through the court system.
Yeah.
I think it's like an admission of judgment or something that.
Lawyer, yeah, I like Lawyer. He's Lawyer. He's pretty good. They were talking about how cute he is on another channel the other day. He's not manly enough for me, though. I don't think. I like the more rough-looking guys, but
Well, I'll say this, Ryan. He probably does have help.
Yeah, probably.
And I think, yeah, he has help. He's getting it pared down quite a bit. Plus,
or he could just go look at the highlights from the day.
That's what he's doing. He's probably looking at the highlights, but he's got help.
I mean, when the Depp trial was on, I watched probably like every day of that.
I did. I cover it every day.
Yeah, but this one, I get. There's some parts that like get a little boring to me, and then I kind of like, take a nap or fall asleep. But then I always catch the highlights. But
well, see, this is my routine. I watch, and usually what happens is I have now structured my day around this trial, and nap time for me. I take a nap every single day, and this is what keeps me with my sunny disposition. So I take, what I've realized now is if I sync up nap time with lunch at the court, I wake up and I'm refreshed, and I catch the rest of it. And I move around too. Like I will have it on in the bedroom and the living room. And then when I'm cleaning or I need to step outside or whatever, I have it on my phone. I just be walking around the whole time, and it's just nothing but because I'm fascinated. I really like the legal arguments too. It's not just the witnesses, but I like when they argue back and forth about testimony and they make legal arguments. That's one of my favorite parts.
I love me a good cross exam too, but it's got to be like when I was trying to watch the Maya Miletti trial, Larry's lawyer was like watching paint dry.
Yes, I noticed that Harpootlian and is it Gibb? Let me look up Alec's lawyers. What I notice is they have a very similar style of cross-examination. So they start out kind of nice about it, and then they ask questions that seemingly don't mean anything, and you're kind of like, what? It took me a minute to catch on. Why are they asking this question? And then they get the witness comfortable, and then they just move in and ask something like completely,
You're right. I was wondering that too, because I was like, why are they even asking these questions? Like some of them were just so, like, I didn't understand it.
That's what they're doing. They get and it's a lots of attorneys do it. It's just that the way that they do it, their technique is just, I find it funny. I'm sorry. I know it's not, the case to me is not funny. The subject matter is not funny, but some of the behavior, I'm sorry. Human beings do funny shit and I laugh. And it's just
Mhm.
the way that they do it. You can almost see, you can almost see and hear whenever he starts to ramp up. And let's see. Richard A. Harpootlian. Who else?
The other guy, I can't remember his name. I know
Griffin
that.
is his last name, Jim Griffin. Should have
Yeah,
remembered that. Yeah.
that case was tough to watch, and the judge has the school. Oh, I know. CBK was horrible. His lawyer. She was like a family lawyer, like a family. She wasn't a criminal lawyer. Larry's lawyer,
What?
and she was terrible. Like the judge had to keep like, you know, she would talk really slow. I think because she was trying to like hide her accent because she was, I guess, like Filipino or something,
Mm-hmm.
and she was trying really hard to hide her accent. It sounded like so she'd talk really slow and
Aw.
really like, and she would like long drawn out questions and things that didn't even um it was really bizarre. He needs a new lawyer for trial, I'll say that for sure.
Aw.
She was not good at all.
I sometimes I will talk slow, but it's because my brain is working too fast. And you see how I
Mhm.
trip up over my words. So sometimes I have to slow my roll.
I
But
think it was because like a language barrier
I try
maybe,
not
like,
to be, I don't want to be paint dry. Now I'm gonna be self-conscious.
oh no, you talk way faster than her, put it that
Okay,
way.
thank goodness. Sometimes I talk too fast and then shit gets all jumbled up and it's bad.
Yeah, I do the same thing. So wait, what was it? I wanted to let me show the video because I wanted to show the Paul video real quick because I have someone in
Okay.
here who's new. So I'll play the uh kennel video, I guess I'll play. All right, so here we go. So I have someone on Twitch who's asking me about it. So I'm gonna give you a little rundown. There's this really big family in South Carolina who were prosecuting attorneys for generations. I mean, they like ran the show there. They had all these connections through court, cops, whatever. And Alex Murdaugh was a big shot lawyer, and he did volunteer, I guess, in the DA's office. I think it was,
Mm-hmm.
or and he also worked at their firm, which had a bunch of different shareholders, not just their family, but other shareholders. And he was stealing millions of dollars from the firm. And sorry, Dave's yelling in the background.
Hey,
Gaming.
I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay,
All right. You break it down.
I will. And so right when his firm found out about, they started catching on to him, stealing money, they confronted him. And the day they confronted him, his wife and his son are killed. Well, his son had a couple years back got into a boat crash and was drunk and driving the boat and crashed and killed some girl, Mallory Beach. So he was getting threats from people. He was about to go to court for it. And his dad was also a defendant in a civil case about the boat crash because it was his boat. And yeah, it looks like it was premeditated for sure. So on the day that they were murdered, they confronted him about the money. Then he goes to their property, Moselle, which is a big farm, and probably like half a mile away, they have kennels on the farm that they ride the ATVs to. Well, his wife, Maggie, who didn't sleep there, she stayed at this beach house usually, but she would come and feed the dogs and play with them. She was there and his son Paul was there checking on his friend Rogan's dog. Well, Alex said he was napping then and then left to go visit his mom, and that he was never at the kennels. But Paul made a video for his friend because he thought something was wrong with his friend's dog's tail. He was babysitting his friend's dog and he thought something was wrong with his tail, so he made a video. And in the video, you can hear Alex Murdaugh's voice clear as day. So he basically lied. He was there. He wasn't taking a nap. He said he checked, he came back from his mom's and finds them dead. And he checks their pulses or whatever, but he literally had no blood on him, no visible blood at least. And I'll play the video for you where you can hear his voice in the background, but it does seem very premeditated in that he is allegedly the person who killed them. And also, news from the wild side, police in North Carolina tell people not to shoot at the spy balloon when it crosses over. Oh, the Chinese spy balloon? I heard about that. Why? It's over in North Carolina? I seen a picture of it too. What is it there for? The crazy people in North Carolina out there with their shotguns shooting at it. They want to know what's flying above. That's hilarious. I wonder what happens if they do shoot at it. Will they get arrested? Hold on. Where is this video? Why can't it? It's like every article I read not have it. Here it is. All right, I got it. Finally. That damn thing better not fly over Jackson, Georgia. We ready? Right? Spying over. So then why can't we shoot at it? If it's spying. Yeah.
Hey, yo!
We want to introduce you to the most amazing destinations in the world.
Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. It's young,
Sunny,
colorful,
diverse, and above all,
it's incredibly tasty.
Tel Aviv beaches are the best.
Tel Aviv and Jerusalem have the most amazing nightlife.
Jerusalem, the heart of the world. A spiritual adventure with 3,000 years of amazing history. See you here soon.
We love you. Tel Aviv, Jerusalem.
Book your trip now.
Get back. Get back. Quit, Cash. Come on. Quit. It's okay. Come here. It's not bad. Come here, Cash. Get back. Get back. Quit, Cash. Come on. Quit. It's okay. Come here. It's not bad. Come here, Cash. Shit. Come here. Post it. Cash.
Hey, he's got versions now.
Hey, Bubba.
It's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
Sorry, I took a bite of an egg roll and it took me a minute to chew it. So basically,
We want to introduce you to the most amazing destinations in the world.
so literally, minutes after that video, probably like 3 minutes after that video, all phone activity stops on both of their phones. So it appeared that they were killed between think it was like 8:49 and like 9:05 or something like that. And then Alex went to his mom's, which they found a raincoat there with some gunshot residue on it. And they found gunshot residue on his seatbelt. And then he called 911 at 10:06. And he was in different clothes than he was wearing earlier, which he said he changed into those clothes so he could take a nap. And the guns that were used, they owned a .300 blackout rifle, but it was missing.
Can we just stop there? Just pause for a sec, Kate, can we?
Yeah.
Only wealthy people have clothes for different activities of the day, okay?
Right?
I don't have napping attire. All right, I get up in the morning like everybody else. I have my 5-hour energy, I have a cigarette, and I have a cup of coffee. I fiddle around, I play Matchington Mansion, Heyday, and Gallery. Okay.
Right. I'm in my sweats all day.
Then I get my caffeinated ass up. I take a shower. I have all of the good ideas and thoughts and make plans for the day. I have like a list of 10 things to do. I accomplish like 3. I watch trials, and at 1:00 or 1:20, whatever time the judge says, okay, we're going to lunch, that is nap time. And then I get up and then I make dinner and stuff like that. I don't change my clothes. Once I've had my shower and I'm all lotioned and potioned and cleaned up, I sleep. That is my napping attire. Whatever the outfit of the day is, it is my napping attire as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then at night I have my PJs.
Yep. Same here. I don't have, I mean, he had like a button-up shirt on and fancy pants, and then I guess he changed into like a t-shirt. But it was very
riding
weird.
around in a truck in the field, looking at trees.
In an outfit
slacks,
you would wear,
like what he wore his like casual Friday at the office, because he was at the office that day because Jeannie called his ass out again.
Mm-hmm.
She had some Jeannie. Here comes Jeannie. I got questions.
She was the best part of that whole testimony is when she was like, I walked up and he gave me a look like, he said, what do you want? Or something like that. And I told him, well, let's go from me now. And I'll tell you what I want. Yeah.
We'll talk about
I loved how she added that tidbit in, like, yeah.
Me too, because honestly, it's not where I thought she was going. I thought she was going to say, we can take this outside, and I was going to clap for Jeannie.
Right.
You know, what was interesting to me, she did. And what was interesting to me too, is that he would only mean mug her because, you know, Long Crime, I got to give it up for Long Crime and their split screen. This should be a permanent thing. They did it with the Depp Heard trial, and they should keep it. Although I don't like when they do it with the 3, because sometimes the camera gets a little too fast and I feel like I'm in a Blair Witch moment, but it's fine. Anyway, he would only like mean.
I'm loving it.
Yes, but he would mean mug her when she was looking at a document. And then when she would look, she wasn't looking at him. She was looking at the prosecutor. But when she would look up and face towards the gallery, which would be his direction, he would be conveniently busy looking at something, some kind of nonsense, or writing a note on a paper, or doodling, or whatever the hell, or popping a piece of candy, or whatever the hell he is doing. And I'm very worried about how hard he chews gum. It's very disconcerting. I've never seen anybody chew gum so angrily in my life.
You know what's crazy? Someone said it in chat earlier. He acts so different when the jury isn't there to when they get there.
Yes, he does the Dahmer rock.
Uh-huh. He acts like
the only
he's like
reason
a
I call it that
man.
Is, right. The only reason I call it the Dahmer rocking is because Tracy Edwards testified that when Dahmer had him in the apartment and he was cuddling or whatever, and Tracy was doing, because he still had the one handcuff on, and he was making a way to escape. But Dahmer was watching The Exorcist 3, and he said he was rocking. And so and now when I first saw Murdaugh do it, I was like, this motherfucker is
The
rocking like
Exorcist 3 and Star
Dahmer.
Wars.
Yes, with the yellow contacts from the Emperor. Give me a break.
He was obsessed.
Good. I mean, look, I'm obsessed with the Star Wars too.
I love
But
Star Wars.
I don't want the Emperor's yellow eyes. That the electricity fingertips, that is a keen trick. I would love to have that. I'd like to have the Vader throat hug.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
Failed me for the
I
last time.
have the VR headset, like the virtual reality,
Mhm.
and they have this Darth Vader game, and it's awesome. Like,
Oh, aren't you? I have this. All I have is the Darth Vader mask that changes your voice, so I can
that's
talk
cool
like
too.
Vader. I used to, when I first got it, I put it on and I terrorized everybody in the house with it. I was talking to the dog like Vader. I was talking to the pets like Vader.
The dogs are probably like, what the hell?
Oh, Nestor is like, oh my God, mom's on her bullshit again.
The game is so cool though. Like Vader's like 8 foot tall in the game. Like he walks up to you and he's huge, and you get to like fight with lightsabers and stuff. It's really cool, and it feels so real. Like you climb ladders.
I need that in my life.
It's awesome. I
And
haven't played
if you're
it.
a true Star Wars fan, you guys all have to watch the Family Guy Star Wars trilogy, because low key, Stewie is Vader and he says everything that the audience is thinking in the movies. You know, like whenever they board Princess Leia's ship and there's just a bunch of dead stormtroopers laying around, and Stewie walks in and he's like, really? Nobody thought, hey, Vader's about to come aboard. Maybe we should clean up. He just says shit like that and it's funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, you have to watch it. It's good. I will say that the third one is not as good as the first two, but it's still good. It's still really good. I don't think his heart was in it. I think it was like one of those things where everybody was sort of demanding it, and so he did it, but his heart wasn't in it. So it was still good though. Hey,
was today day 10?
No. Okay, so how you count it is
I count adding the
don't add the weekend, baby. Don't add the weekend in. Today would have been day 8. Let me look. Let me just make sure.
Well, with the jury selection, it would have been 10, right? Because
you're adding the weekend. And there's no court on the weekend. I'll tell you what day it is. Hold on.
All right, so maybe not.
Yesterday was day 7, so today would have been day 8.
Okay, hold on.
Right?
So some say it's confusing because some count the what's it called?
I'm counting the jury, but you don't count the weekends. So it started on a Monday. So last Friday would have been day 5, right? Then this Monday.
So it says day 8 is 2 days ago. So it has to be 10 then. Blog 8, day 8, state our views.
Well, I know, but YouTube counts the weekends, honey. So when they count days back, let me explain it to you. So it started on a Monday, right? The first week of trial would have been day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This Monday would have been 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So maybe you're right. Maybe it is day 10. No, because I was keeping track of it with Court TV. Hold on. Now I'm going to have to go look.
So Law and Crime have been doing it, not counting the jury selection. So.
Oh, okay. So I was going by theirs. Yeah. So that's
why. They'll say day 8, but then when you look up the recap,
the actual days.
Yeah, they say day 10 because they add the jury selection.
That's right, because I did. What did I say? I did yesterday was day 7. Is that how I did it? Yeah, I didn't count the jury days.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. For like long crime, it's doing that way too. Both they're doing it both ways. Some say 10, and then some say 8. All right, so I'm just gonna go over the recap of today because I didn't do that yet, and then we can wrap it up.
All
So we've
right.
been on here 2 hours already.
I
Good night,
know.
Jen. I'm hungry too. I want to go eat some
Me
Chinese.
too. Ooh,
I'm
that
thinking
sounds
about
good. What are you going to get?
I got food earlier, but I didn't really eat that much of it because I ate right before hubby got hungry, and then he was like, "Let's go get Chinese," but I wasn't that hungry, so I ate a couple bites of it, and then I put it in the fridge. I'm gonna go heat it back up. But I got pepper steak, and I
Ooh.
love fried rice with the spicy mustard. It sounds crazy, but it's
No, it
so
sounds good.
good.
It does
That
sound
like
good.
bright yellow spicy mustard. It's so good on fried rice.
Ooh, I'll have to try that.
Yeah. So it says a judge heard from banking experts. So I guess the Palmetto State Bank guy was on today, right?
Yeah,
The
that's what it was.
CEO.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. The first 2 witnesses to testify Friday were Palmetto State Bank president and CEO Jan Malinowski. That's who I saw, Jan. And then Michael Satterfield, the son of Gloria Satterfield. I hope that doesn't hurt having the son of Gloria Satterfield up, though, because I feel like that takes away from motive, though. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm trying to remember how I think what
hey, criminality.
because I'm trying to remember it is the murders that opened up the can of worms in the Satterfield case. And
yeah, and then I remember the judge reading and saying that like you can do it if it leads to motive, but like does the Satterfield thing have anything to do with the motive? I don't know.
Well, I think it's more of they were going to look, all of the financial misdeeds were going to come out. Once they start looking at one case, they're going to look at all the cases. And so it was only a matter of time before it was going to come out. And if I'm remembering correctly, and I may not be, hey, Teresa, I think that the media is who told the boys that something was not right.
Yeah, they said they found out through the media, through an article. I think it was Fit News that they found out from.
And I think I think the reason that his testimony goes to motive is because they have an admittance of liability. What is the term? They used a very specific term. It's basically that Alec admitted he did it.
Yeah.
Because there's a judgment against him for it.
He did.
Yeah. So so basically because he has a pattern of behavior that he is charged with currently, he's facing charges for, and he has this one case where the pattern of behavior is exactly the same and he's admitted it, that's why it can come in. There you go. All of my freaking synapses just fired at once.
That makes sense.
Way to go, Jen. 47 hours later.
Malinowski testified that a deposit from an off-the-books loan for $400,000 was put into Murdaugh's account. What is an off-the-books loan?
There was no loan application.
So with Palmetto Bank, they just gave him a loan off the books?
And then they did. Then when
when his account was overdrawn, so they just gave him that money? That's crazy.
Yes.
They were like, here, man, take $400,000.
And then the board started looking into it, and they're like, wait a minute. And then they decided to backdate a loan. Confession of judgment. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, babe. Thank you.
So somebody got fired for that, right? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Lafitte. Fate.
Lafitte. You know what that
Lafitte.
reminds me of? What's the guy's name from what's it called? Thanks, Sarah. Beauty and the Beast.
Oh my
The
God.
candle guy.
Lumiere.
I keep thinking of him every time I hear that name. Lafoot, that's it.
The candle guy from Beauty and the Beast.
Hold on, wait. I'm gonna figure it out. Yeah, the guy wasn't it like
Well, the candlesticks is Lumiere.
Lumiere? That's it. That's the guy's name. Or no, I'm thinking of the other guy, Lafaux. The
Gaston's friend.
No, the clock.
Oh, what
It's
was
like
his name?
LeFou or
Let me look. I'm Googling. This is the kind. This is. All right, hang on.
I love that movie, by the way. That's probably like one of
one of my favorites too.
Like the opening song is just so good, and Gaston. I love Gaston. Gaston is just such, like, he's so funny because he's so full of himself. Cogsworth. Oh no, then who's LeFou? Oh no, LeFou is Gaston's little.
Yeah, that's what it said.
That's
Gaston's friend, LeFou.
Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Gaston's friend. It's like, you don't miss a shot, Gaston.
Luke Evans is in this. Holy hell, who knew?
All right. Wait, where was I? Also, on August 9th, Norris Lafitte sent an email asking about the bank's relationship with Murdaugh. Malinowski testified. Malinowski testified that Murdaugh's total liability to the bank at that time was more than $3.5 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he had a charge-off.
Wow.
A couple of charge-offs.
I wonder what was like in his, like, did they say how much was in his actual bank account?
They did. They went through all of the accounts that he had, yes. At that bank. Not any bank.
Was it a lot or just like?
No.
That's crazy. That's crazy. On July 15th, 2021, a $350,000 wire transfer was made to Wilson Law Group, or it says Chris Wilson. Malinowski testified. Malinkowski, I think I'm saying it wrong. Malinkowski said paperwork showed a loan originated on July 15th, 2021 in the amount of $750,000, but that the numbering was consistent with a loan that would have been created in July.
Right, not in May when all this started or whatever it was.
Yeah. During an August 17th, 2021 board meeting, they spell it wrong. They spell it Malinowski in one paragraph, and then in another one it's spelled Malinkowski with a K.
Oh,
I guess that was.
Which one is
it?
Let me look it up. I'll Google for you.
Hold on, let me show you real quick. They definitely spelled it different. Look, ready? Malinowski and Malinkowski. I think it's No, I don't know. They spell it wrong several times.
They spell it different each time. Oh my,
yeah, look, Malinowski, Malinkowski. There's with a K. I don't know. Murdaugh was straight flossing, right? A couple $1,000.
It's Malinowski.
Okay.
Jan Malinowski.
All right. During this August 17th, 2021 board meeting, Malinowski said the loan was discussed and that Murdaugh's, how do I say that again? Edisto? Do I say Edisto? Edisto Beach Home and a share
Edisto.
That's it. And a share of Green Swamp Inc. stock were used as collateral. Malinowski testified that the mortgage was never placed on the property and that the stock had already been used as collateral in another loan.
Mm-hmm. The part
And
that
Carlos-
I didn't get, hold on, maybe you can explain this.
Mhm.
He said that they refinanced one of the homes because it had matured. The loan had matured. And I didn't understand what that meant. Like they pay. I'll have to look it up. Never mind. It's a question I can look it up.
The maturity date on his loan is the date on which the entire balance is due and owing. So I guess
Oh, I see.
it was due to pay it all off and he couldn't. So then they
Refinanced.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay.
All right. So in Cross, Jim Griffin asked about overdrawn accounts and if Murdaugh had ever been denied a line of credit with the bank.
He had almost $1 million line of credit with the bank. Guess how much he'd ran that up to? $999,999.99. Like he was right there. Motherfucker had like a penny.
He's good.
Yeah.
And what that was like, that's how much he spent on credit and owed?
He had a line of credit.
Oh, okay. Kind of adds as the algorithm
for $1 million.
I have no idea, Ryan. They feed me all kinds of weird, uncontrolled gas. Probably have a virus. I promise I'm not having any gas conversations.
Now that you're talking to me, who knows what kind of ads you're going to be getting now?
Oh man, that's hilarious. Oh, sometimes I went on this one page one time somebody sent me and there were just penises all over it. And I was like, what the hell? And then it was funny because another true crime creator did the same thing because it was like it was something about true crime. And they went on the same site and it was just a bunch of
nothing
penises
but
all
wieners,
over.
Huh?
Yep. I was like, wow, I can't believe they would have like all these pictures on this article that's about true crime, but hey, you never know. Yeah, usually there's Fashion Nova ads. I do love my Fashion Nova, I will say that. I like their sweat outfits. They're really like thick and good quality.
I have to check them. I don't have it. I'll be hot because it's Florida.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Fashion Nova is a little too like. Usually, it's a little too risque for me, but they do have some nice stuff. If you if you look,
I'm a jeans and t-shirt kind of gal.
Yeah, I am too. Like, I wear a lot of Adidas. Like, I like Adidas sweat outfits.
Oh, I like Adidas too. Mm-hmm. All my shoes are Adidas and Vans. I think, except for my running shoes, those are Nike.
Yeah, I love Vans too. I got like the all white ones, and then I got the little slip-ons. But I mostly wear my UGG slippers. They're like my in the winter.
I mostly wear my Old Navy flip-flops, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's Florida.
I do that in the summer.
Old Navy it's always summer here. It's always summer here.
Yeah, one day I will have a house down there and have a lizard farm.
Oh, you should. Mm-hmm. Every time I see the little geckos out here, I think of you. Especially when they do the push-ups. I keep saying, I got to video that for Kate because she's got to see this. They're so in their natural habitat.
My lizards do that too. If they see either wave, which is like a sign of submission, they'll go like this.
Oh.
Or when they're the girls will do like slow push-ups like this.
Oh,
and the guys will be like,
I see. They court.
The guys are really aggressive, but
yeah.
But the females do cute slow push-ups.
Of course they do.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes the boys acting a straight fool.
Mm-hmm.
All and tumble.
Exactly. Where was that? Oh, okay. So they asked about overdrawn accounts and if Murdaugh had ever been denied a line of credit with the bank. Malinowski testified only one account had a negative balance and that no loans or lines of credit were denied until September of 2021. Griffin then asked if Murdaugh had ever defaulted on any of his loans. Malinowski said Murdaugh had defaulted on 2 loans that had been written off, but he was still sporadically making payments. So they're still giving this guy money and he wasn't even making payments on time.
none of us would have had credit extended like this.
Oh, hell no.
I mean,
Just
just from
like
this
one
article-
payment when your credit score goes down like 100
right? Like,
points.
what could his credit score have been? I mean, he was mortgaged to the hilt on everything that he owned.
And then when you pay off all your debt, then you don't get any more. It's like your credit score goes down even more, and you're like, God damn, I paid off all this debt, and now like
Right.
it went down. Credit.
But when because Jeannie, like Jeannie said, they have to budget.
Yep. So how did that work too? Like, I guess they got their money that they're owed in like lawyer fees, but or did they put all their lawyer fees in like a pot? I didn't understand.
Okay.
So they got a salary.
So the way I think that, yes, they're salaried employees. So then when they win a case, and let's say everything that they collect is total of between, they put all of what they collect is they get $500,000. All right. They put they pay the firm $500,000. All right. So then the firm deducts equally the total for the entire year of overhead, all the office supplies, the rent of the building, the utilities, etc. Right? Then, but they still keep a track of. So, say I put in, we're two lawyers, okay, and I won a case, and for the entire year, I put in $4 million worth of fees, okay, or worth of revenue. And you put in $2 million worth of revenue. At the end of the year, my payout is going to be bigger than yours. But we'll both get a monthly salary. But the big payday comes at the end of the year.
At the end, gotcha. Because I was like 100,000, like I guess for a whole year doesn't seem like that much. So I guess at the end of the year they got like a huge thing.
Right.
Malinowski testified. Oh wait, I said that. Before the jury was brought in Friday morning, the court heard testimony from Carson Burney. I didn't hear him. This is who?
I didn't hear from him either. I'm gonna have to go back and watch him.
Burney, a forensic accountant from the South Carolina Attorney General's office, testified about tracing.
Jesus, we should have watched.
About tracing money going in and out of Murdaugh's bank accounts.
Well, when I get off of here, that's what I'm going to be reviewing.
Right. Burney said he tracked money from the Satterfield case and found payments to multiple names connected. Oh, this is big. Connected to Curtis Eddie Smith. Credit card payments and money moved from the fake Forge account into Murdaugh's personal account. So what was he hiding money under Curtis's name? Maybe.
This is what it seems like he was doing to me. I think he was laundering money, is what he was doing for himself.
And
I think
to do it somehow.
I think that happened later on, but I think that when the boat case came up, I think what he was trying to do is hide just exactly what Jeannie said. Move money around to make it appear as if there was less for them to go after. He was trying to shelter money is what he was trying to do.
Yeah. So I guess Eddie Smith was connected to multiple names and he was putting money in several accounts that were connected to him.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Oh, Lord. When Bernie's asked if the documents shown in court reflect that all the money that Murdaugh took went to his personal use and benefit, he answers yes. The jury was brought into the courtroom just after 11:30 a.m. after the financial testimonies were held. They first heard from Tom Darnell, a fingerprint examiner from the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. Darnell testifies that he could only collect prints from Paul's phone, but those prints didn't contain enough detail to compare. He said he collected. Oh, so they couldn't even compare to see if Alex had actually.
That's interesting because if I look at my phone right now, and I bet if you guys look at your phone right now,
I got fingerprints.
I have fingerprints. Not only are my fingerprints on it, Alice's paw prints are on it. She steps on my phone every time, without fail. It's like she goes out of her way to step on the phone. So her DNA is everywhere. My tablet too. So that tells me, I feel like that phone, he must have wiped that phone. He must have tried to get into that phone
Yeah, wiped it with like a
and wiped
shirt or
it.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think he did. I think that's why he said that to begin with. That
I think so too, just in case he missed the spot.
It was so stupid too. He's like, "Oh yeah, I grabbed Paul's." He didn't even give really a good excuse. He was like, "I grabbed Paul's phone and thought I would do something with it, and then decided not to." Like,
right?
Do what?
Break into it to see if what he had been doing. That's what you were trying to do.
Yeah, like why would you go into Paul's phone? Like in that moment in time, why go into Paul's phone and try and do something with it?
I think that he was wanting to. I think he wanted to see. I think he realized, like looking back, oh shit, Paul was recording.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done told these fools I wasn't out at the kennel. I wonder if he caught my voice.
Yeah,
because he didn't.
He tried to get Rogan.
Yeah, he wanted to see it and he couldn't get into it. And then he was hoping that perhaps the dogs were being so loud that,
or the hose,
that it would be too difficult to understand, and that they would only hear Paul's voice and not his. But that's.
And I do think it's kind of weird that they said that maybe Paul wasn't answering then because his phone was nearly dead, but it didn't die until like 10:30, and he was in the middle of conversations with people, so I can't just see him.
No, I don't exactly.
Yeah, like cutting it off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, oh, let me just not answer these people. Like 2%
battery. To a girl that he was planning. They sound like they're planning to get together.
A date or something. A date. Yeah.
So and he was and all of the
texts, or they were flirting at least about movies and stuff. Yeah.
And the texts seemed to come like we're having a conversation right now. They were doing it through text, one after the other. Hardly any, downtime in between.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's definitely when all of that went down, and it would make sense because that's exactly probably where he would have been at that time and where Maggie was. So, like near there. So It makes sense. Like they were in those almost exact positions right around that time because you could hear Maggie like outside and Paul was right in the kennels. So
exactly. And, I know everybody's like, well, how did Paul benefit or Alec benefit from Paul and Maggie's death financially? Well, on paper, it doesn't appear that he did, right? But if that executor or whatever, and it's changed and it's to his brother, you think his brother is going to give him the shaft? No, it's a way to shelter money. It's a way to own something without owning it, without it being in your name. They're all good at it. Maggie too. Yeah. I think Maggie was in on some of it too. I have to be honest. I think she was aware of the things that were going on. There are certain things and that you, as a married couple, you're tied together financially on. Yeah. Yes, you can have
my hubby things. Is doing some F shit. I'm going to know about it.
Exactly. I mean, yes, you can have separate assets and separate accounts and stuff like that. But other types of things, like their home was in one of their homes was in both of their names. Mm-hmm. So if you go to refinance, their taxes are another example. They filed likely together. So there's some financial things that would require her to be aware of. And I do think that I think that she did feel a certain type of way and was like, we're going to end up having to pay, but we don't want to have to, be poor, and poor for them, not actually poor, not like us poor, like regular people, what we think of as poor, rich people poor, right? So what's the harm in hiding a few, hiding money here and there? It's for the kids,
Yeah.
Paul's got to go to college. I'm sure they justified it.
Especially if she only had like $40 in her account or whatever it said. It was
how are you living off of $40? You can't.
Yeah, like how is your husband a lawyer and you got $40? You got to know something,
Exactly.
Yep, something was off.
The milk ain't clean.
Mm-hmm. Where was I? All right. So fingerprint. He could only collect prints from Paul's phone, but those prints didn't contain enough detail to compare. He said he collected DNA swabs from the guns he was presented with. In cross-examination, Dick Harpootlian asked if Darnell was called to the crime scene and if he expected a detailed analysis of the crime scene. Darnell testifies if he had been called to the crime scene, he would have taken detailed notes. Most of Friday's testimony came from forensic firearm expert Paul Greer. This was the sassy guy, right? Paul Greer. I liked him.
Mm-hmm.
Greer testified the firearms. Oh my gosh, she's so loud. He tested the firearms collected from the property. He also compared the markings on casings collected around the property, the 300 blackout casings found around Maggie Murdaugh's body. He testified that the casings found around Maggie's body and casings found outside the side door of the house coming from the gunroom had matching markings, indicated they were all cycled through the same firearm. So, wasn't multiple firearms, it was the same firearm. Greer took the court through his testing of the casings and the shotgun shells collected on the property. The 300 blackout rifle belonging to Buster Murdaugh that was taken from the property and the shotgun that was taken from Alex Murdaugh on the night of the killings tested inconclusive when checked against the casings and shells. Wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
Griffin, in cross-examination, asked if Greer can say that the rifle and shotgun that tested inconclusive were the murder weapons. I am unable to determine if they were fired by that firearm or firearm with similar a firearm with similar characteristics. He also asked if the matching mechanism markings proved the casings were all fired through the same gun. He explained that they all had been cycled through the same rifle, but he couldn't say they were all fired from the same rifle. So they were cycled through the same kind of rifle, but maybe not the same rifle? Is that what he said?
Let me read this again.
He explained that they had all been cycled through the same rifle, but couldn't say that they were all fired from the same rifle.
Mm-hmm. Because
Griffin
the tool marks that he's talking about come from the loading and the ejecting of the bullet, but that he's looking at casings. The other part that you would look for, what you need, is like the bullet, I think, right? Part of the bullet to match up.
Yeah. When you load it puts certain grooves, and then when you fire it, it makes certain grooves. So I guess the grooves from them loading it were cycled through the same, but not fired.
Yeah, but he can't say if they were fired because he doesn't have anything to compare it to, because you need the bullet for that part.
Greer said, in his opinion, the findings were accurate. And I'm just clicking this real quick to see if this is from today. Oh, no, that was yesterday. Well, that was all for today. And then next week, oh, I didn't want to open that. Next week, sorry, guys. I hate when I do that. We open all my chats so everybody can see everything. Oh, good. At least it's at the end. All right, y'all. Well, I am going to end it because it's been like 2.5 hours. Thank you for coming up, Jen.
Thanks for having me, babe. Anytime. I can't wait for Cousin Eddie.
I know. We're going to have to, if you're going live that morning, I'm going to come and
of course
watch it with you, because I feel like Cousin Eddie is like, we're going to have to stream that.
We're definitely. I'll even break my nap rule. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully
I'll break my nap rule for Cousin Eddie too.
I will too, just for Cousin Eddie. But that's it.
Do you know Buster's testifying too, right?
So I am curious about this because I have heard both. I have heard that he is not on the witness list, and then I've heard that he is on the witness list. Now, I know that there is a witness list, but I don't know if it's still up. So I'll get to it.
Hold on, wait, let me see this. Alex Murdaugh's son Buster set to potentially testify against him. Alex Murdaugh's lone surviving son, Buster, pictured Circle, who was on the witness list to potentially testify against his father, witnessed Alex crying during the opening scene. So he's on the list, it says on MSN. Hold on, let me see. Oh, and the state reported that in addition to Alex's son, Buster, the ex-attorney's brothers, John Marvin and Randy.
Now that I knew.
Wow.
We're going to have to break our no-nap rule for the brothers, too.
Yeah, he's definitely...
Alec Murdaugh, you're an asshole. Like, we're having to give up our nap because of you.
I know.
Bullshit.
So Buster, it sounds like, is definitely on the list. That's going to be... That...
What could he possibly testify, though, to? But I'm going to watch. I don't care. I just can't figure out what he would possibly... What could he possibly say?
I don't know. Wasn't he, like, far away when all this went down, too? Maybe how he acted.
The only thing I can say that he would testify to was family dynamics. He could tell about his mom, his dad, and his brother, but that's about, and how they got, whether they got along or whatever. But
yeah,
I don't think he'd be able to, I mean...
I don't know. I can only see family dynamic, or maybe like how he acted afterwards,
or what time he called him and what he said, because he also called Buster.
Yeah, true, and then he got there. Yeah, that could be. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys. I'm glad to be. I always have fun on Kate's channel, always in her chat and on her panel. So thanks for having me.
Always be having the best true crime conversations.
We do. We do have some good ass true, and we talk about a wide array of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we have little sidebars all the time, but
always sidebars are important. Sometimes you just got to take a break.
They're important on streams.
Amen. All right.
Well, we appreciate you being here, and thank you everyone who came. And if anyone is new in here, make sure you subscribe to my channel and give me a like before you go. And next week, if Eddie testifies, oh yeah, and sub to Jen Lou's channel. I have it under Jen Lou, I think. Hold on. So that way, when
look, I made it to the Nightbot.
Yeah, I think that's what I put up. You're on it under something. I think that's what
I'm
it is.
here like the damn Jeffersons moving on up.
Yeah, it is. It was.
Oh, there's me. I'll add yours to mine too. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go. I'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks. Bye. All right, good night, everybody. What's today? Friday. I'll probably be back. The gassy ads. Look, I haven't been talking about gas or anything. I don't know why they're giving me gassy ads. My computer must be listening to my hubby. Because they're like, yeah, he needs gas medicine or something. Throw up emoji. Matt, why'd you put that? All right. Good night, guys. Talk to y'all later. Well, I'll probably be back tomorrow, Sunday. Usually when I say tomorrow, it's probably the next day, but I'll try. See ya. Oh, and thank you for coming. What I asked Peter, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because then you can go back and see all my stuff and catch me on YouTube too. But thank you for tuning in on Twitch. All right, see ya.